Good morning, and thank you for stopping by my channel once again. I truly appreciate all of you who take the time to stay to the end of the video. As always, subscribe, leave a like, post a comment. I try to answer the comments as soon as they come in. This video, I'm going to be building what I'm calling a Ottoman tray for our family room. Sometimes we want to put a cup on or a tray or plate or something. We're watching movies and it's very awkward because it's not like a coffee table where it's a hard surface. So I wanted to just build a simple flat board with some character to it. I didn't want to just cut out a piece of oak or walnut and just set it on there. So the process is simple. It's like building a cutting board. There's thousands of videos out there on how to build it, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the glue up, but there is a unique part of this video. All I'm going to say is wait for it. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. I just changed out my table saw. What I'm using is a Craftsman table saw, 10-inch. The other table saw I had was a worm drive, so the extension table and throw plates I had to redo them all. Now I know that this was going to be a unique day because, as you can see, I have the splitter on and I'm trying to cut this piece of board, some strips for this tray that I'm building, and I don't know what I was thinking. I just wasn't thinking. And as I'm trying to push the board through as I'm cutting, I realized that my splitter is higher than my push stick, so I'm going to have to change the throw plate out to a different one that doesn't have a splitter on it, and this is the process. Now I'm just going to be cutting out some 1/2-inch strips, which I'll glue together later. You won't see the glue up in this video, but you will see the process for cutting as I move forward. Right here, I'm going to use my miter gauge to do a cross cut on this piece that I've already glued. You might notice that the notches on my extension table aren't very long because what I've done is I've just cut off the end of my miter gauge to allow me not to have to make those dado grooves very long. The miter gauge still does the job that it's supposed to do, and it's just easier for me. I just didn't like the fact that if it was longer, I would have to put these long notches onto my extension table. This works out pretty good. Now right here, my planer is not as wide as this particular piece, so I'm having to kind of make it work with a hand planer. It might not be the best process for doing this. It's just the way I decided to do it today. In the end, it worked out okay, going back and sanding with a palm sander, and it got pretty smooth, so I was okay with it. So right here I started sanding with my palm sander, and it worked pretty good, and it was moving along. I was using 60 grit sandpaper, but I decided that I was going to try using my disc grinder. I've used it in the past in a number of projects, so it's going to take up a lot more material and also make this a little bit flatter. So here's where I said at the beginning of the video, you need to wait for it and see what happens. So, safety first, right? Make sure that before you plug in a power tool that it's not locked on. Apparently this happened while it was in my cabinet, so when I put it on the table, and try to plug it in. It just turned on. Needless to say, it got me, and I wasn't too happy about it. So, like I tell my students, make sure that you check the power tool to see that it is not locked on before you plug it in, or hold it while you're plugging it in so it doesn't fly off the table just like this did. Now, something that I learned way back in junior high with my old woodshop teacher, for the life of me, I can't remember his name. You can go out and buy, some finishes to put on wood that will preserve it. You can even buy a special coating for cutting boards that you're going to use to prepare food. But a little bit of cooking oil, in this case I'm using olive oil, really makes the grain of the wood and the color of the wood pop, and it preserves it. You just have to coat it every once in a while. It will dry out eventually, but if you just keep it lightly coated, it should preserve the wood and keep it from staining. So that's what I used, and it really looks beautiful anytime you use any kind of oil on beautiful pieces of wood. It's just a great thing to look at.